investor, executive, creator, sailor. If I have to ask you to describe your work today in a word, what would you think it would be?
Chaos.
Hello, friends, and welcome to a new episode of Merging Minds, the podcast brought to you by BureauWorks, the AI Power TMS. And today, as in every episode, I am extremely excited to bring you an important guest, somebody that is doing these things differently, somebody that is rocking the localization industry. Today, we're here with the first guest ever in this podcast. She was here in late 2023. She said, Javi, of course, I want to help you start your podcast. I'll be the first guest, no problem at all. And since then, she's lived a lot of stuff. Today, I'm here with one of the founder of Translated, Isabelle Andrieu. Isa, hello, how are you doing?
Hi, Javi. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. It's so good to be here with you. Thank you so much. I'm super happy to be another guest. I was the first one, but super happy.
You were the first, and I remember because I had just returned from California, and our CEO comes like, Javi, you gotta start a podcast. Like, who am I gonna start? What is it gonna be about? I have no idea. Okay, so let's do a podcast about important people in our industry that are doing things differently, leaders, etc. And I said, the first one is gonna be Isa.
Oh my God. Thank you for the important people.
Oh.
But anyway.
And this was in late 23, and I remember back then you were preparing for this incredible life-changing experience, which was sailing around the globe with your boat, with your crew, with your husband. Okay, let's start by that. Brief it. How was it?
Yeah, it was 1 year ago that we arrived after around the world sailing trip.
Yes.
So we participated into the Ocean Globe Race, which is one of the most adventurous regatta ever made. And the particularity of this regatta is that you have to do it with no technology. And because my company does a combination of AI and linguists, we thought, okay, this makes super sense. There was a great hype in AI, and people were forgetting about what makes us humans. And there was too much hype on technology, on machines, and we really wanted to leave a clear message about what is it that makes us humans and how humans are so important. So when we heard about the regatta, and it was just by case because we had a family trip on a boat for the first time, my husband was not seasickness, didn't have seasickness. So we said, okay, maybe there's a chance that we participate and sell. And so it immediately clicked into our mind, doing a regatta that is so adventurous with no technology, no GPS, no radio, just human and nature, and the sextant. So it means like 160 days at sea, taking the directions from the stars and the sun. So very challenging.
You're one day home with your husband, who is also the co-founder of Translated, and you guys say, let's do a regatta. Or how comes that idea into your mind?
We started like very naive people with no idea of really what the risks were. This is really serious regatta because the first edition of this regatta in 1973, 3 people died. And in the next editions, other people died. So it was really challenging, but we didn't really know. So I'm an adventurous person by nature. And my husband told me literally, hey, Isa, what do you think about doing this regatta? And I told him, okay, if we don't have anything better to do, then let's do it. So I'm very engaging whenever it's an adventure or sailing around the world or doing something different.
Were you guys like prepared sailors for it? Or did you guys?
No, I never sailed the boat. I never sailed the boat before. Michael his crazy seasickness, had crazy seasickness. Like during COVID, we had the only option we had with our family was to take a 3-day trip on a boat. And in that moment, something changed in my mind. I said, okay, my husband was not sick, so maybe there's an opportunity to do more. And then, Google started to pop up with all advertisement about the regattas and boats and sailing, and the Ocean Globe Race advertisement came, and we said, "Okay, that could be really good, actually." So we tried to combine a way to make it work with our own company and to engage our community, our people, because we had zero experience. So we said, okay, how can we surround ourselves with the best people? And when you do something very naive you don't know about, people think that you are crazy and they want to help you. So when we talked about, so we signed to the regatta very early, like 2 years before. And in the sailing world in Italy, so we became famous. Like these two Italian, I call me Italian, I'm
You're
French.
Italian. Oh my God.
These two Italian people
No
signed
French
for a
accent.
regatta. Yeah, and they don't. Who are these crazy guys?
Yeah.
These crazy guys, and so we got help from more serious people,
Yeah.
and we talk to them, and they say, so we ask them for help, and they say, maybe you should talk to Paul Caillard. But at that time, Paul Caillard was in the United States. It was COVID time, so we couldn't reach out to him. So we sent a third party to talk to him.
Such a
And
celebrity in the sailing world, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yeah, he's a
Yes.
legend.
Yeah.
He's one of the most famous person in the sailing world.
Yeah.
He won twice the America's Cup, sailed the OGR twice as well. Is apart from being a very kind person, is an extraordinary athlete and professional person. So he guided us through this journey, helping us knowing a little bit more. So we engaged the community of our linguists.
Yeah, and I remember you guys posting and sending newsletters about, hey, if you're in the localization industry, we're preparing these crazy ideas. And I remember this was like the late days of COVID, so to say, before the whole world opened up 3-4 years ago, right? 3 years ago, right? More or less. And we want people that are not professionals in sailing. We want people that are crazy to come and join our adventure. This was such an innovative thing to do here, right? Like,
Yeah, because the regatta had to be done without technology.
yes.
The crew was a crew of 10 people with non-expert sailors, 7 people non-expert sailors out of 10,
Yes.
3 professionals. So not only we were sailing the world with no experiences, we were sailing the world, the globe with non-experienced people.
Yes, yes, I know. And the training, how could it be the training of it? Like, how was the training, the preparation for that?
Yeah, so we had 1,500 people who answered the call from the industry. So clients, potential clients, prospects, translators, and people from the sailing world. And we selected 27 out of them doing training sessions around the globe. Like we did we bought the boat. So we bought 2 boats, basically. We bought one boat that was the boat we prepared for the regatta, and the other boat we put it in San Francisco. And in San Francisco during weekends, we would have people sailing together with Paul Caillard and deciding if they wanted to participate or not to this adventure. So we had 700 people just in San Francisco who did that. And out of these people, we found the perfect,
Yeah,
the
wow.
perfect members.
And in the end, like, what is the best memory you keep from that already past experience?
I think it changes you from being
It does, I can imagine.
selling with no technology. For me, it was a gift, really a gift, because in this fast-pacing world where we're connected, I mean, even in my company, we have several channels of communication. You have chat, Slack, you have Messenger, you have your phone, it was really a gift to just stay with yourself, reflect, living with nature, interacting with people, communicating with people, and it felt like family. I mean, the level of it was really deep. The collaboration and the gathering we had with these people, like they felt like family. We just help each other each time we see each other. It's you share so much. Like you share fear, you share happiness, everything. It's completely a word apart. It feels like you live in your own family boat in the middle of the ocean where there's nothing,
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, just waves, just the nature. Sometimes a cargo ship that tells you where you are. So
Yeah,
you call
you can call home. Yeah. So the human connections are the most impressive things to keep as memories, right? Yeah, I can imagine. Oh,
and you couldn't even call home. So
yeah. And you
you
have
couldn't
family,
even,
you have kids. Oh my God, that must have been
I
like
have
probably the
family.
hardest part.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I switched with my husband. So
Oh,
I wish I had some colleagues in the company coming. So we had 3 potential members coming with us, but at the end they were a little bit scared. So we devoted ourselves to this project,
Yeah.
even
Oh.
to do the regatta ourselves.
Oh, Isa, thanks. I love that you shared this crazy, beautiful, life-changing experience that you had last year. Since it's been almost, I was just looking at now, it's been almost 2 years since we had this interview, and a lot has changed. And I really wanted you to come and speak about this. You recently at Log World told the story. It was like I was in first row looking at you and seeing you speak at the Log World conference. I was like, oh my God, that's so thrilling. I gotta ask her about that, right? And thanks for sharing that. And on top of that, I know you as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, as a business owner, as a leader, you've been into many, many things these last couple of years, right? Can you also tell us what's been the most exciting thing in terms of work that you've been doing lately?
So I'm the co-founder of Translated,
Yeah.
which is the mother company of our entrepreneur journey that does translation business. And we also have a venture fund that is called PyCampus. We were the first incubator in the Rome area.
Wow, yeah.
We invest in startups that use AI applied to different fields. So far we have 70 investments in applied AI in medicine, transportation, space, everything that we try to envision our future and how can AI be helpful. And if we see a good founder, a good line of business, and a good idea, then we try to invest.
You go for it, yeah.
70 startups.
Wow.
We were one of the first investors of the Boom Supersonic, which is the new Concorde, together with Richard Branson.
Yeah.
And it's a project that was born from nothing.
Wow.
That is now a reality almost. In 2027, they're gonna. I mean, the business has been run for more years now, but they're gonna commercially start making some transportation from New York to London in 3 hours. So it's a revolutionary.
And that's
project.
also one of the projects you're investing in. That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And last but not least, so after Pi Campus, we also have Pi School that does applied AI for companies that come to us and have an idea that AI can help them.
Wow.
So far, we've done more than 100 projects in different fields as well, helping small and medium enterprises and large corporates such as European Space Agency to apply AI for short projects, but also long-term projects.
Wow.
And
it's incredible. I am so positively jealous about what you're doing, Lisa. Like investor, executive, creator, sailor. Like that's incredible. Like I'm jealous. I want to be like you when I grow up, for real. But if I have to ask you to describe your work today in a word, not a title, but a feeling, what would you think it would be?
Chaos.
Chaos manager or just simply chaos?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But if I have to describe, I'm living my best life.
That's what I expected to hear. That's what I expected to hear from you.
It seems like chaos from outside, but I'm having fun. This is a lot. We're touching a lot of things here, and we're scraping also we're touching the state of the art of AI as well, because we just won a wonderful project. I think we can tell it now, because we signed it and it's official, and we launched. Also it's the DOOPS project. You know, every year the European Commission grants a special project in AI, and we were lucky enough to present ourselves, and as we're going to be a coordinator of this wonderful project that's going to craft the new technology of AI. So the unifying the multimodal AI. So I'm not, as you can tell by my words, I absolutely not a technical person.
Neither am I, so it's okay. That's fine.
But, so with the DOOPS project, we're going to craft the new technology of AI. So AI will combine the vision, the environment, let's say, the language, the sound, the video, everything, multimodal.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to do that in 3 fields: medicine, language, and space.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
And we're a coordinator together with the most experienced research centers in Europe, and we're going to gather the most experienced technical people in Europe, experts and researchers. More than 70 researchers are going to work on this project, and it's a 4-year So I'm super excited about this because it means we're at the frontier of what's going to be next, and we're going to actually doing it. So it's
That's
so
so exciting. That's so incredible. And I know you mentioned it, you're not the most technical person, neither am I, but I know for a fact that you always have an incredible impact, especially in work cultures, in all the projects that you start, right? That's something that I've heard from friends, that I heard from talks in our industry. Isabelle is the best at creating positive work cultures that put people in front of anything, right? And in this project, as in others that you've done before, and speaking about that culture you help building, I would like to ask you, what are the non-negotiables in the cultures that you help create in all the ventures that you start?
Creating culture is hard. The more you grow, the more it becomes harder. Because when you are 20 people, it's
Yeah.
pretty easy, right? You know the people very well, you engage very well with each other. The more you grow, the more you have to make some efforts to communicate well, to give a structure to what you're creating and building, and how things are made, putting the values at the core of what you're doing, and communicate why these values are important. And the value comes from your past experiences, how you are as a person. All the values from my company come from our past experiences, or maybe things that we've done in the past with Marco, the way we behave or interact, and so on and so forth. So when you come to the company, now that we are 250 people,
Wow.
it's not easy to let people understand that why do they find food in the kitchen, or why is there a beautiful swimming pool, and why do we convert luxury villas into offices? It's because it comes from a story. It's not given, it's not rented. The people that were 10 years ago with us saw all the transition, so it's hard to communicate. So
Yeah.
I think the non-negotiable, especially when you're growing, is about being open and listening. So it becomes harder, but you have to have your sentinels everywhere to listen to what's going on and try to be very reactive with little things. It doesn't need to be big, but I make you an example. Like, you have to have a system, of course, of how to promote and make people grow, but also understand when people are doing their best, and how can you support them on their daily work, like granting them with a little gift because you've heard about the manager saying that he did his best. So gathering all this information and being open and listening to what they have to say, I think it's a non-negotiable.
It's super interesting that you mentioned this, and this gets super, and this makes me think of a conversation I just had this week with one of my good friends, Anna Schlegel, because she's also one of the localization industry leaders, or she was one of the globalization industry leaders. She's not here anymore. And she was telling me about some projects she started in this direction, right? In terms of like hearing what people are trying to express, hearing them, considering them, because that really has an impact in how customers see you, right?
Yes.
In this interconnected world, sorry, go.
I celebrate the birthday of every employee in my company, and this is so important. And I personally do that, and they receive. This is a small example.
But it counts, right?
Create culture with this, but these are small things that you can do, and adding one after the other, trying to have a rhythm also in what you're doing. It makes sense that it's tough, but you have to be intentional, and you have to give a rhythm to what you do. It's never a check that you do. When talking about culture, it's not something that you say, okay, I've done it, then I pass on the other project. No, because we're all living companies. It's something that fluctuates. Sometimes it's the morale is super high. Sometimes the morale is down, and you need to adjust with responses, with communication, with whatever you can do.
Yeah, it's super funny that you mentioned this, because I thought of when you mentioned the word chaos before, like the chaos tamer, the chaos curator. Is there times in which you feel when leading, when managing your teams, and when scaling, for example, when everything around you feels like chaos, as you say, how do you stay grounded in people? How do you trust them? How do you do that?
To say grounded in people, that's a good.
I wanted to ask you some difficult questions, and this must be one of them, of course.
No, this is a very good question.
It's a good one, yeah.
I mean, I'm a person that is very trustful.
Mm-hmm.
So I trust by nature. I assume best intentions on everyone.
Yeah.
Sometimes with naivete, but sometimes I think it's if I communicate well what is requested, and I check that the person has understood very well. I think they're gonna do their best. I mean, why shouldn't do their best?
Yeah, especially if you pay them, right? But there's times that
Yes.
people don't.
Yeah,
So
sometimes people don't, but I mean, we made ourselves by doing some mistakes. So
yes,
I allow people doing mistakes, and it's not
yes.
that I beat them or what. But so yeah, I assume best intentions from the beginning, and I think it's important to free them from just to give them freedom and try to do their best on a daily basis.
And how would you describe whenever you're gonna set up one of those projects you've been describing, or leading what you already have in place, or you have a new idea, whatever else? What would you do first? Set the vision first, or feel the energy of the team that you have around
Yeah,
to
I'm
share
a collaborative person, and I love to gather everyone to the same goal. And sometimes I really don't know where I'm going, but I need to interact and to interfere with people to find that path. And I think I love to
Do we know as individuals where we're going all the time? I don't think so.
no, not at all, not at all.
No,
But
life is just like about doing improvising stuff, right? And it's like whenever you're what?
I mean, given I mean, given the principles, you do things based on your values and the principles, but sometimes you don't know how to do a project. So, but you have to be creative, and I think I love even sometimes it's even too much because I really love to co-create with people. So I think it's a good approach because you bring them on board since the very beginning, and they are super on board, and they follow you because they take part of the the great picture and the great vision. We have a totally opposite way of doing with my husband. And I have this way of doing. I think it works fine. My husband has another way which also functions, but this is how I work and how I collaborate with everyone. It's not a one direction given.
Yeah.
It's a co-creation.
And so far it's working. So keep it up that way, Isa. And what's something you wish, in your experience, more leaders would admit?
Oh my God, so many great questions you're asking. Something that leaders should do.
I prepared a few questions. Like I read your newsletter, of course, and I always follow your posts. You know that for sure. And I was like, I like to ask these difficult questions. So, but take your time. Don't worry. Like think of it, and if not, we can just rephrase it and have it. Don't include this one or whatever. Like totally up to you. Huh?
No. I love the question. By the way, I think so. We have to assume that everyone is different, and
Yeah.
everyone has their own way of thinking or their past stories, and we are living our own lives. If you think it's a very lonely life that sometimes we share, we have points of contact with other people. It's not given that someone understands you from the first interaction. And I think you really have to make things clear and try to communicate better with everyone. Mm-hmm. So I assume best intentions, and I would love to have other leaders assuming best intentions. And sometimes I see a lot of leaders that are doubtful, yes, or they don't really trust. Yes. And I would love to see more of that. And on the other side, we have to admit that we're all different people and with different visions, which is the beauty of who we are. How can we co-create something nice with all these different way of viewing things? So I would love other leaders to be a little bit more open about diversity. And I don't know if we can say diversity, but yeah, other way of thinking. It's very rich whenever you have different
It's rich,
people.
and I get it. Like if I would ask myself that question, you know what I would think is like I would like leaders to admit vulnerability. Like, hey, I'm not having a good moment now. I cannot fucking work right now. I cannot do this. But I'm a very valuable individual. Why would you get rid of me? Why would you punish me? What do this? I'm vulnerable as well, right? I can
Absolutely.
admit vulnerability. Like I'm so,
This is
and I
all
think,
about vulnerability at the end.
yeah, I would
It's
say so. Yeah,
admitting that we have our own path, and
yeah,
we are doing our best, and we have our own growth as well, and we never stop growing, and we are not in the same path. Like
yeah,
either you or me, it's our own, and we are doing every day a little step, and sometimes it's a good day, sometimes it's a bad day,
yeah.
and we have to admit that. I mean,
You have to
whenever.
admit it, and understand those that are around you, and those who work with and for you, right? As well. So
Yes, definitely. Sometimes I come to my team and say, "Oh, this is not a good day." I'm telling you in advance. So don't
so
think this and that. I'm not gonna answer you tomorrow.
oh, love it. I love it. I love it. At least you're clear and you're transparent. So that's great. Isa, you
Yeah,
started recently a newsletter, right? Like it's super
women of
interesting.
today.
Women of today, right?
Yes, it's. I'm passionate about other female leaders
Yeah.
talking about their stories. I think it's super inspiring. It started as a, let's say, I had some conversations with other female leaders, entrepreneurs, for my own, let's say, growth. And I said, okay, wow, I would love to share that with other women, because to me, it's super valuable to have a network of other female leaders that inspire you with their stories and with their achievements. So I started very slowly, and it's these are interviews that I'm doing from female leaders that I think are cool women that could give a nice that could give nice insights or nice tips to other women, and I love that they can inspire like someone somewhere
Yeah.
there with their stories, and I
Yeah.
think
That,
relate
that
to them. So
sharing those stories is beautiful. That's, I mean, a little bit what I'm trying to do with this podcast, right? Sharing the stories of people that are shaking things up in the industry, right? Imagine that you would be facing somebody, a woman, let's say, right, who just started her career and wants to be Isa. What would you tell? What would you tell her?
trust yourself.
I love it. That's
Trust
so cool.
anyone, but trust yourself. Trust your
Yeah.
gut. Trust your inner vision.
Even in a difficult moment in which you think like imposter syndrome is taking over me, how can I be doing this? Like, is that the
You
same
know,
advice you're
I
giving
had
to
a
us?
very nice conversation yesterday night
Yeah.
with one of my colleagues, and we were sharing about sometimes you are stuck in a very difficult situation with some colleagues or even at home, and when we are stuck in these conversations, we are a little bit we close ourselves. You know, it's like we don't see other things around. It's like we are closed in a small space, just circling around and talking and thinking about this own
Yes.
conversation that maybe that you had. It's like being on an elevator. So this situation that is taking place, it takes place in ground zero, and then you take the elevator and you go to ground one, and you what is it that you see? You see yourself. So from the outside, having this difficult conversation with your colleague, and it's a little bit more like you open a little bit more the space, so you see yourself from outside, and the more you go up, like you arrive at the top of the floor, and what is it that you see? Not you're not closed in your own little space, but you're
Uh-huh.
seeing things in at a higher scale, and it helps you minimize what's happening and gives
Yeah.
you the insight that at the end everything is fine. Like the sun is rising, well, I'm alive,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
is fine. And it helps you just being detached from that situation, not circling around with all
Yeah.
your thoughts and feeling, and just
Yeah.
trying to see
And
yourself as
difficult to see
a
in moments in which, yeah. And so sorry to have interrupted, but difficult to see in moments that are difficult, so to say, right? Difficult to see like in moments of maximum anxiety, or difficult to see in moments of high pressure, right? This thing that you're
yeah,
mentioning. But I think through meditation as well, for example, or through other techniques, you can achieve those thoughts. And that's personally
definitely.
what
When,
I'm
when
trying to do.
Yeah, I think it's something that you have to train on.
Yeah.
But so I'm seeing a lot of progress on my side. Like I'm sometimes I'm having a very difficult time, and I saw recently that I could see, even in that situation, I could see myself from outside
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, this is happening," and I could understand a little bit the dynamics of the situation, and seeing me from outside helped me a lot, and made me calmer. That I could handle my feelings more, with more, let's say, I would welcome them, and I would say, okay, I'm seeing that I'm very angry at this moment, but I'm seeing what's happening, blah blah blah, and I could definitely take some decisions that were not too reactive in that moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is practice, but I think it's a
You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
elevator.
Isa, you were the first guest in the podcast when we started, and you helped me start the podcast. So today with you, I want to start a new section, and I want to call it rapid fire, right?
Rapid
Four
fire.
spices. So it's just like 4, 5, 6 questions, like a few
Go for it.
questions that I'm gonna ask you, and I just want you to briefly just answer them, okay?
I love it. I love it.
So,
I'm
like,
ready.
hey, a mistake you're grateful for.
A mistake I'm grateful for. Oh my god.
Like, don't mention Marco, anything with Marco, okay? We're
A
gonna edit that. Don't
mistake.
worry. You can say anything else.
I'm grateful for all my mistakes. They
Yeah,
help me grow so much.
good. That's good. That's good. That's great. That's great. A quote or a mantra you live by lately.
Trust yourself more.
Oh, I love it. You've been telling this in the whole interview. Rome or your hometown in France.
Oh, I love Rome, but I love Paris so much. Paris is so beautiful.
Can you describe your guilty pleasure, if it's describable here?
It. I just had one piece just before the, the podcast. Chocolate or Italian ice cream.
Oh,
I
I
love
love it. I love it. I love it. The most you moment you've had in the last month.
practicing sports.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's it. Those are all the questions I had for you. And as always, I'm always thankful for your friendship, for your time, and for coming here, sharing your experiences because they're enlightening. Like lots of like one of the things we see in our industry, I tend to see in the industry is that although we're a big community, we're pretty disconnected. And once you bring the stories of people, it makes us get closer. So you sharing this, it's incredible, and I'm so thankful, Isa.
Thank you, Javi. You're so
Oh,
kind.
it's a pleasure. So, well, thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. I hope that in a couple of years, or unless you return to the podcast and you tell us all the adventures you've been in, I hope maybe it's this time exploring space or something like that. Let's see, because anything can be expected from Isa in that regard. So, thank you so much for being here,
You. Lots of
and to
love.
all of you, and to all of you watching. Until the next episode of Merging Minds. Bye, bye, friends. Bye.
Bye.